Welcome to the Venly Expert Talks, where we aim to inspire Web3 builders with great stories from great minds. I'm your host, Alexandra Ahrens, and I'd like to remind you that you can always reach out to us on Twitter, Discord, or LinkedIn with ideas for the podcast and questions for our guests. Welcome to episode 23 of the Venly Expert Talks. Today I'm joined by Christopher Glancy, Chief Product Officer of First 11, and we are going to be talking about what it means to focus on entertainment and experiences in Web3. So welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me today. Great to meet you as well.
Yeah, you as well. So if we can just start out with your background in life and what brought you to where you are.
Cool. Well, I think sort of professional life, I've always been in the sort of media industry. So I've worked for big media agencies. So I was working, sort of found my way into media, worked for a big media company called Bauer Media, and then ended up working for WPP. So I worked for Wavemaker and Essence most recently. So they're big sort of media agencies. And my role within those typically was focusing on sort of innovation, future thinking in terms of strategies and how we can sort of create the best campaigns for clients. And I worked with some big clients there, so a great place to be. But before I left, Essence was working with Google on a lot of their stuff. And so very much had an eye on gaming and saw amazing potential in the gaming space and sort of left to sort of help set up First 11, which is where we are now. And then in between, I worked at Shazam. So I had some experience working in mobile app businesses. And before that was acquired by Apple a couple of years ago. So yeah, just gaming's a massive passion for me as well. You know, I love two things. I love music and gaming, and the gaming space is just such a great creative place to be if you've got a bit more of a creative mind. And so that's how I sort of found myself a bit more involved. So
yeah, that's great. If music and gaming are your passions and you've gotten to kind of work with both of those at this point, that's excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. Great.
Yeah, I'm based in just near London in the UK, born and bred in the UK. So I'm here.
Cool. Thank you. And then if you can then talk about First 11, a little bit what it is, what it's going to be, what the plan is there.
Yeah, so First 11, we feel there is a massive space, a big hole really, in terms of creative entertainment formats that leverage blockchain, gaming, and the metaverse. So looking at 2 years ago, so when I was working with my agency hat on, sort of doing big campaigns for clients, and Google was one of those clients, and it's very, very hard to sort of activate in the space. So we saw a lot of fragmentation, basically. You saw lots of leagues, teams, tournaments, there's more and more influencers, and now there's more and more platforms, whether you look at TikTok, Facebook gaming, Twitch. So what we wanted to do is sort of approach with almost like, if you look at Netflix as a model, Netflix has got an incredible catalog of video, right? But what makes Netflix great is it's kind of a format first approach. So they have stuff like the House of Cards or Squid Game. So we thought, wouldn't it be great if we sort of set First 11 up to build the technology and sort of the infrastructure to then drive big scalable formats that are easy for casual gamers to just jump in, have fun, and earn rewards in the process. So that's kind of the main thing. Our big differentiator is our sort of strap line is fun comes first. So that's because we're called First 11. And that's really our mission behind everything that we do. We don't want to kind of fall into a trap of being kind of serving 2% of the audience, which is basically, you look at esports, it makes a lot of news on LinkedIn and lots of, exciting press releases. But actually, I fundamentally believe most gamers don't really care about it. They want to come in and have fun. So we always want to serve that sort of, I'd say the casual gamers that are good at gaming. I put myself in that bracket. I love video games. I've played video games for 20 years, but I'm not going to sit for 6 or 7 hours playing Counter-Strike in a tournament platform, So for us, how do we create something that's fun, quick, easy for you to come in, jump in and out and have fun? So that's fundamentally First 11. We've got a very strong focus in globally, but our big footprint is in Latin America and Europe. And the sweet spot, obviously we're called First 11, that has a sort of football flavor, is sport and gaming crossover. So we're working a lot with different athletes, rights holders, teams that maybe have sort of ventured into esports a couple of years ago and realized actually it's quite a contained area. So working with us, they can expand the reach and create these sort of more fun focused formats that are supported by all the tech that we've built as well. So for us, we're very much like have our own sort of creative teams and building our own formats with partners, but we're also have created the tools for creators to then create their own channels, their own challenges, their own reward structures that fully leverage blockchain, and hence obviously working with Venly, because we think blockchain is tremendously exciting to allow people to not just play to earn, but allow people to win things and get closer to their heroes in these kind of cool formats. So yeah, there's a lot happening, and we've been onboarding lots and lots of different communities. So we really rigorously tested First 11 over the last few years, and we're working with the top FIFA communities, the top Valorant communities, lots of different creators, and we've been optimizing as we go, and we're getting really good traction now, really good engagement, and it seems to be working really well. So that's kind of us. But at its core, First 11 is the home of challenges, but we never lose sight of fun and entertainment being the core driver of why we do things and why we get out of bed to do it in the morning, because it's we'll never have a sort of a straightforward sort of tournament where you have to go and win a prize pool or whatever. It always have a creative twist and a fun angle.
Very exciting.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you're focused mainly in kind of Europe and South America. Is that related to the football aspect? Is that changing?
Yeah, so we if you look at the lockdown, the fastest growing Twitch streamer in the lockdown, I think for a good period of time was Sergio Aguero. So he was playing Twitch and everybody followed him. And when an athlete has an authentic passion for gaming, it's credible and authentic, they absolutely move the needle in terms of engagement. So we know today's footballers and athletes, but football is kind of obviously the biggest sport in the world. So they play video games all the time in their spare time. So our first global brand ambassador is Arthur Melo. So he's a big international footballer, big star. So he plays for Juventus and the Brazilian national team. And when we met with him, we had a couple of calls with him. He absolutely loves video games. So that passion and authenticity shone through. So part of First 11 is really working with athletes that have that authentic and credible passion for gaming. They might not necessarily be a fully fledged gaming creator, but they have absolutely loads to give if they want to jump on, have fun on a stream, maybe structure a fun themed challenge where their fans can come in and sort of earn a cool NFT in the process. So we want to make it really easy for those guys to jump in and sort of have fun with all the support and the community management and the technology that sort of underpins it. But equally, we want to flip that and allow creators and fans to all come into the same place as well. And then that sort of fuels what those formats are. So football, when we attack these formats, we've got a very, very strong big format coming out in football and gaming with a global media partner, which will be announced quite soon, which is really cool. And then we're also doing a lot with other sports, right? So different racing, different sports, different things. So for us, football's the number one, in those two territories. And if you look at, outside of North America and sort of Southeast Asia and all of that, you look at Europe and Latin America, there's massive synergies we love the same sort of things, really. We love racing, we love football. So that's kind of, we think those markets are a little bit underserved in a way.
Okay.
So we're going after those first, but we're definitely not isolated to those regions. And then we also are working with some of the biggest communities in Latin America. So we're equity partners, by the way, with Final Level. So they're the biggest influencer gaming, content group in Latin America. They have, they get like close to 1 billion views a month. They're gigantic. So we've absolutely got the scale, the distribution, the creators, the communities. And for us now, it's just about how do we drive these really fun formats that you can just, we have our main products, the First 11 Challenge app. And what we want you to do is let's say you're on the way back from work or you're on the way home from school and you just flick up the phone and you can see there's always something going on. In the same way you open Netflix, you can just say, all right, well, tonight I'm going to watch House of Cards or Squid Game. We want there to be a live challenge that you could just, oh, cool, I could be playing Mello tonight in a Minecraft experience and I could win a football boot that I can use in the metaverse by being there. Do you see what I mean? So that's what we're about is sort of making it, having a good threshold, like quality control, cool experiences, and then extending that to communities to have their own, and rights holders to have their own channels where they can drive challenges for fans to jump in and have fun and earn rewards in the process.
Okay.
And football is the biggest way to do that, at scale.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. As you said, so you're working on football, racing. Those are some of the big focus points, I guess. Are all of the challenges kind of going to be based around real world sports? Is that how you're starting? Are you expanding?
No, so as I say, esports is we have an interest in that, but we always want to turn it on its head and have fun with it. So we're working with the best Valorant team in one of the best Valorant teams in the world. I think they're number one in Brazil, Gamelanders, and so we'll create fun, Valorant theme format with those guys, and it will always be with a creative lens on it. So what we'll never do is just like, here's a tournament platform, off you go, and just going to allow people to grind it out and win like a prize pool. I just think that's really dull for a lot of casual gamers. So it will always be something fun where we're inviting you in. And the technology that we've built, so we've spent a lot of time developing our tech stack, and it's all about that seamless access into the experience. So let's take Valorant. So let's say we've got Arthur Mello playing Valorant, and you can play alongside him in his team. And we can pull you into his team quite quickly if you're watching the stream. And if you do something or you complete an objective that's kind of fun-driven, challenge-driven, you can win something. So that's kind of where we're at. Is we're not really trying to drive big tournaments, et cetera, but it's always creating sort of fun formats that are engaging and fun.
Okay, fair enough.
So across any sport, any game.
Yeah.
If it's fun, we'll do it.
Good, definitely. I wasn't trying to box you in or anything, just looking for more there. Good. So yeah, then you also touched on how First 11 is a platform, is a creator platform. So you do have a program on your website to onboard and challenge creators. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually have sort of a couple of key product areas, right? So the challenge app is the main thing that sort of fans and consumers will see, but we also we actually have an amazing talent management system. Okay, so a full back end system that if you're a footballer or you're a famous creator, you can download First 11 Creators, which is like an app, a separate app. And that allows us to, if you're a famous footballer, you can tell us when you're playing, when you're available, connect your socials, etc. So that then helps fuel some of the formats which we create in the challenge app. So creators can join that. And in joining that, we offer a full sort of community support team at a certain level if they're getting behind, if we're going to create a challenge with them. And we always want to make it, the UGC features within First 11 will always allow you to create things and reward you for how fun and creative and entertaining those things are. So that's the sort of twist, I think, with First 11 is that we're never going to be, it's sort of rewarding people for having fun and being inclusive and positive rather than just sort of like grinding it out in sort of an esports sense. So we always want to welcome sort of diverse range of different creators to join us. And we have been, like I say, onboarding lots of communities and creators and within the First 11 Creator Network, which is powered by a very sophisticated sort of talent management system and influencer marketplace. So if you're a rights holder, like a football team, and you want to create your own channel within First 11, then we're offering you a lot of tools and analytics and measurement, and you can configure exactly how you want those challenges to run and who you want them to, which talent you want to be in those challenges, right? And it's also, let's say you're a brand and you want to have 3 famous footballers and 25 creators in 2 markets doing, a Fortnite challenge every Friday, and you want all of them to be on Facebook Gaming or half to be on. It allows you to configure that, right, in a perfect sort of, in a much more easily. If you're a media team or a social team or a gaming team, an agency, or it's just way easier to do that than having to cobble it all together yourself. So the creator network is open for creators to kind of join that. And it allows a whole range of tools to them, if you have like a bit of a following and you want to sort of, and I think where these challenges can help is these creators always need things to do in the streams, right? So it's like some of the formats we can help say, hey, do you want to star in this format? Or we allow them to just be creative and reward them in the process as well. So,
okay. Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
Good. And then you also touched on this a little bit, but with First 11, you have challenges on chain and off chain. How does that work for the users to play a game on different interfaces, consoles, and so on?
Yeah, so we have when we're looking at blockchain gaming, we see that as a broader subset of gaming. So we will have fun if we're creating, and as we are with Venly, right, creating a fun experience in the sandbox, or we're doing things with some other blockchain games as well, that we'll have a specific challenge and objective and create something fun that you have to go and do to earn something, right? The difference with us is we're going to be creating some very cool NFTs, so launching NFTs with the athletes, with the rights holders that you can win by doing the challenges. So we will exclusively drop products within the First 11 app, which is obviously working with Venly, which allows you to win something in the context of a challenge. So what I think is really exciting is you'll be able to be watching a stream in the most simple sense. Arthur Mello, he turns up, he's a big famous footballer. We've got lots of other footballers and racing drivers. So let's say it's Arthur Mello. If you score 3 goals against him, you can win his NFT football boot, that we launched, that will have interoperability and functionality in a wide array of different situations in the metaverse. So we're unlocking sort of cool partnerships in the space. Obviously, Venly with the sandbox experience is one of those. We think that you can win something in a challenge over here and you can use it over here. So, the metaverse sort of platforms are really interesting to us to sort of build these custom experiences where we can sort of invite fans in and get closer to their heroes, but they might need to earn access to that by doing something over here in a different sort of challenge, right? So that sort of NFT sort of blockchain connectivity opens up a wealth of creative possibilities in terms of what we can do in terms of fan engagement and what those formats can unlock. We're not too fussed about being one way or the other. We just want to always look at gaming as in the round and say, is it fun? Let's do it. If it's more fun for us to create a challenge in Mario Kart, we'll do that. Or if it's more fun to create sort of a cool sports bar in the sandbox where you can go and do a fun little challenge with, a famous footballer, we'll do that. So we're not ideologically obsessed with, the purest sort of decentralized platforms in that sense. But having said that, it allows us to be quite creative in how we use them, because technically they offer kind of some interesting things that you can't really do in other games.
Yeah, good. So you were mentioning there about the partnership between First 11 and the Meta Ring from Venly. Can you take us through maybe a little bit more detail of what the vision is there for in the sandbox and so on?
Yeah, so I think the Meta Ring project is quite an exciting one because I did a lot of work in assessing sort of the blockchain landscape, the best providers, how we're going to build the best product, the best First 11 experience for creating, joining challenges, earning rewards, having fun. And we sort of connected with Venly quite early on. So we've been sort of involved with you guys for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And in that process, sort of building out our product, we started talking about the Meta Ring, and that just seemed like a really exciting project because it sort of chimes with our vision for creating digital products that have interoperability. So if we're launching a virtual football boot or a virtual, fundamentally it's the same mechanics. So the ring is a really great way to showcase how Venly can, working with Venly can unlock that interoperability, but also as a standalone sort of exercise, we just thought it's quite fun. So as I say, we'll only ever do stuff if it's fun, right? So buying a Meta Ring and then being able to hang out in what we think will be the coolest sports bar in all of the metaverse, where we just think that's fun. So, and fundamentally, I think, with all the crypto mechanics and the play to earn and the guilds I think this is why sort of is similar to what we thought about gaming two years ago when we set up First 11, that those things are quite fragmented. And do most casual gamers care about that sort of stuff? I don't think they do. So, but if there's a cool thing, I could buy this ring and I could go and hang out in a sports bar, and after a big football game, go and hang out with 2 of my favorite players and my favorite gaming creators. That is cool and fun. So for the Meta Ring is kind of, I think more on the fun side, because I think there's a lot of creativity and collaboration in terms of what that product unlocks, in terms of the cool experiences, and you have the ring and you can go and play this game over here, or you can go and do something in the First 11 app over here. I think that the creativity and partnership driven approach we really sort of we agree with, and that's kind of very much in line with our strategy as well. So that's why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. where do you see, or how do you see the crossover between interoperability and creativity for the metaverse?
So I think that what I love is a lot of the stuff I used to do in working at big media agencies with brands with partnerships. So you see brand partnerships and very, and partnerships can be really creative when you take one thing and mash it up with something else. So it unlocks amazing creative potential if you have a bit more of if you assess things in more of a creative way. So like if we're doing something with this asset and we're going to put it over here, or you can, I think the best games, if we're looking at this from a gaming perspective, are always creative first, right? It's an entertaining experience that's cool and fun. And the reason why you like playing Demon Souls is because it's a creative world that's really cool. Or like even the sandbox, people are injecting their culture and creativity into that. So we think that the cool thing about Web3 and blockchain is it's going to unlock so much more potential for collaboration. So there's a rights holder or an athlete over here, but they can do something over here, or maybe there's 7 or 8 different connected experiences that if you earn that or win that thing, then you can do a whole bunch of stuff over here. So I think creativity is the absolute core of like why people will care about the product at the end of the day, the NFT. That's the way we see it. If you're looking at it from a product standpoint, we're looking at it very much with the entertainment fun lens. So everything that we want to do is always fun and entertaining versus but utility is a word that's banded about a bit. And that just sounds like a little bit like a gas bill or whatever. It doesn't sound like very exciting. So for us, I think that the key things that are going to sell more NFTs is just the utility is going to unlock awesome experiences, fun, cool. You can meet your heroes in the metaverse. You can do things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do without buying or earning the product. So for us, creativity is front and center.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you definitely talked about interoperability and kind of creativity, as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that for me, like the metaverse strategy, I've got just a note here is for us, we want to create the most fun experiences in the metaverse, right? So we want to work with creators to help us do that, but we will also play an active role in doing that. And so we're actively building some amazing formats, which will be scalable with rights holders. So we're working with a supercar brand, we're working with athletes, we're working with the top creators, top esports teams. And what we're finding is that when we sort of go down that sort of, how can we create something that's fun and entertaining, and we don't need to worry about esports, then it unlocks some amazing potential. And that's our sort of kind of key focus there. Mm-hmm. I would say there's a lot yet to be announced with us. So we've been almost in a sort of half stealth mode. So we've been testing organically with communities, but there will be a lot of big announcements coming for the second half of the year. So we're launching some big formats with a focus on racing and football. Mm-hmm. So you'll see more of that. And the sort of play to earn, play to win mechanics will be very much a core part of that. And that's kind of the focus. We just want, when you see First 11, we want people to just think that is the home of challenges. I know when I see the First 11 logo, that's an awesome challenge that's well run, it's quality, and it's not going to suck. And that's what we want you to think.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, definitely. So I guess my next question was going to go more in the direction of what tips maybe could you give to creators who want to create something entertaining and engaging in a metaverse? Kind of like you guys have done, maybe on a parallel.
Well, I think that they already are, right? By virtue of the fact they're gaming creators, they already create really good content. So I think it's like, how can we allow them to maybe create a more engaging mechanic within what they're already doing? So I mentioned that Mr. Beast Squid Game example. How could you, mm-hmm. with First 11, you might create a Squid Game challenge where we can have 300 fans all taking part and winning something by that, and the technology we've built would help facilitate that. So they're already doing this sort of stuff, but how can we make things a bit more interactive and extend that access to fans to then come in and take part? So from a sort of how can creators be more creative? They already are creative, and we just want them to sort of say, do you know what? If they want to work with us and create their own challenges, we can absolutely help support that, whether it's through tech, whether it's through community support, those guys just need to focus on doing what they do, and doing a great job streaming. And we can sort of wrap around them and create an infrastructure to create these digital events that are more casual gaming focused. So that's number one. The esports side is interesting because a lot of them have been very focused on, tournaments and platforms and winning. And you're starting to see maybe some of the esports teams start to pivot to try and actually, what we might reach a wider audience if we create something a bit more fun and exciting. So that's where we want to sort of extend the first 11 sort of tech to them. But we just think that, most gaming creators that you see on Twitch or YouTube or et cetera that have kind of decent traction, they are very, very creative, right? But how do you extend that creativity beyond just sort of like a video and create like an actual experience in the metaverse or an immersive sort of, it could be a challenge in a video game, or it could be a metaverse experience, or it might be, connected through the blockchain. So we want to sort of, we can help them because we've got a very strong creative team and kind of like building out more scalable formats that they might want to collaborate with several different people to sort of create something bigger. Or we can just say, right, over to you. Here's a challenge. If you guys want to host it in the challenge app, then we can wrap around that with the community support and the tech, etc. But I think I wouldn't want to lecture them on how to be creative because they already are. But it's just if they want to try and do something, we can maybe help them unlock that with some of the tech that we've built.
Good. Yes, I wasn't trying to imply that they didn't know how to be creative. No, my apologies if that's how it sounded. Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of covered it though. So your tip is just come to First 11. You guys will take care of them. You'll help them figure out all the stuff they need.
Well, yeah, they would be able to, let's say they wanted to have a dedicated channel full of challenges where they could have let's say they did a Friday night challenge. So let's say you're a FIFA, which we're working with the top FIFA community, SAF, they're the number one FIFA community on Facebook gaming, right? So we're doing regular challenges with them. So let's say you're a top FIFA creator and you want to do a regular FIFA challenge every Friday, then you've got that appointment to play and you've got that ability to, in the same way, like if you look at our layout, it's a bit like a Netflix that you could then say, okay, well, I like this guy. So, I'm going to get notification every time the challenge is live and I can access that challenge. Or maybe he wants to give something away and that thing might be an NFT or a ticket to something cool, or it might be access to a free game. Or so it's what the challenges are can be really diverse. What games, it could be any game, but we just want you to be able to easily access and discover fun things to do and earn rewards in the process. So if we're doing that, it's only going to help them, and if it's a bit more of a immersive sort of challenge, let's say there's 200 people or 1,000 people on a challenge, then we can help sort of supply some community support and editorial sort of amplification around it and sort of make it more format driven rather than them just standing alone on a stream somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, very good. What do you think will be kind of the biggest push for blockchain adoption then?
I think gaming is like definitely the driving force behind the blockchain now. One thing I did think about was like obviously the news with Elon Musk buying the Twitter, and he's talking about making that open source, and I just wonder whether that will be the first one that will be a purely decentralized social media app. So they might make that, every tweet is basically tokenized like an NFT, and then it's on the ledger, and it can't be changed, can't be deleted, because if those things about free speech, I just wonder whether that might be, in a weird way, sort of a Web3 version of social media might probably be the biggest technical application of it. I don't know whether that's coming around the corner, but for the foreseeable future, I think it's gaming 100%. So,
Okay. Then are there specific types of games? So obviously we've talked a lot about football, racing, that kind of thing. Is there an overarching style or overarching focus that you can see will be very big?
I think that it's important to remember, like, a lot of the decentralized games are still quite new. So when you look at stuff like Sandbox and Decentraland, actually Sandbox is lost some of their daily active users, and Axie Infinity is losing. So it's creating a lot of hype on LinkedIn. And I think a lot of the games, whether you look at, you got to follow where the users are, right? So the things like Fortnite, things like Call of Duty, things like FIFA, things like And the games, they're the kind of big triple A games, but there's so many other games where you can use those as a creative canvas to have really fun executions within them. So I think those games aren't going away anytime soon. I think that they're still, that's where the vast majority of like gamers live. And I'd be interested to see how the blockchain games start to become a little bit more interactive and entertaining, because I think that's sort of getting there. You're seeing more immersive racing games, or like cool like football games, or like, and it's going to start to catch up, I think, but it's going to take quite some time before we get there. So I think the biggest sort of games for me is just like the most fun games. If it's entertaining, you'll go and do it. I don't think the vast majority of like gamers, the way that what we class that in terms of like casual gamers, are sort of crypto speculators that all want to grind out and join a guild. And like, I just don't think that we're there yet. I think that it might start to converge in the next 10 years. But right now, the most popular games, I think, are, the big AAA games that everyone's playing on the PlayStation and the Xbox and the mobile phone.
Okay. So with that, then obviously there's lots of games that are play to earn, learn to earn, so on. Do you see that being a big push for people to move to blockchain, or is that not as important as creativity and entertainment?
No, I just think if it's easy to access and it's enjoyable, people will do it. If you have to, right now, 99% of crypto blockchain games, it's always like you need to almost have a maths degree to understand how, or whatever. It's like it's like you need a MetaMask account and you've got to do this, and there's staking and liquidity and tokens, and most people they just can't wrap their head around that. So for us, it's like if it's quick, easy, painless, and fun, people will do it. And so part of the appeal working together with Venly, and obviously we've done a lot of work on the tech on our side, but your tools to help provide some of the back end support means that it's painless and easy for someone that is not really a crypto native, or to just win something or buy something or earn something. It's like within a mobile app. So for us, you can open the app and touch. Takes 10 seconds. You join a challenge and you've won an NFT, and it's in your wallet, and you don't need to faff around. And I think that removing the barriers and the pain points is going to just help blockchain scale massively. And that will help alongside applications that are just fun, entertaining, and people actually want to do that sort of stuff in gaming. So I'm looking at fun and entertainment from a gaming angle. It might be different in other industries, but for now, people, if they're not having fun playing games, they're usually not playing them, and they move on to other games. So if they're having fun playing games and there's a crypto component or a blockchain component that's easy for them to understand and access, then I think it will help it scale.
Okay. It has been said that the biggest employer in 2050 will be blockchain gaming. Do you agree?
I don't think so. I think I think that the metaverse is like, obviously after Mark Zuckerberg talked about the metaverse, I think it's a massive, huge opportunity. I do think that it's going to be a massive growth area. I do think there's going to be a sort of sense of like, people have for the last 2 years been spending so much time on digital, like the screens, and I think this sort of merging of the physical and the digital is going to come back in a way. So I just don't know whether, blockchain, I think, is going to unlock so much growth and potential in multiple industries. Whether it's gaming by 2050 being the number one, I don't know. I think it will probably be, blockchain will be there, gaming will be a big slice of it, but whether it's the biggest, I don't know. Whether it's like the banking industry is transformed, or transport or social media, or like just those things are a little bit bigger, even though gaming's massive. But yeah, I'd like to think so, because we're in the gaming space, but we'll see. And 2050 is it's quite a long time away.
It's a ways away for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I think the main thing for us is like, go to first11fun.com, and we've got so many great announcements coming for the second half of the year. I think that the cool thing to remember about us is we're the home of challenges. Everything we do is always fun, really exciting and entertaining. And we've got some amazing NFTs, product drops, and we're never ever gonna like make it really difficult for people to get access to the NFTs. So you'll always be able to win stuff, or or, it's never going to be like you need £10,000 to buy this, or like you need to be, it's just, we want to make casual gaming, and, blockchain and the metaverse is kind of a lever that we pull to deliver these fun formats and rewards for fans. So I think if you like sport and you like video games, then check out First 11. And if you want to get closer to some of your favorite footballers, favorite racing drivers, race against them, play against them, win NFTs from them, join a really cool community, then do come to us. And if you're a gaming creator and you want to be part of First 11 Creator Network, you can always come to us and create your own challenges. And, we'd love to hear from you. So it's all there on first11fun.com.
Great.
Nice plug at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, I ask if you have anything to say, but that's great. Perfect. Then who else should we have on VET next, do you think?
I would say I've had the Meta Ring, Maison DAO. So Simon from Maison DAO, what they're doing is really exciting as well. And I think they chime with what we're doing, because they're very much looking at creative spaces and creating their own metaverse world, which is very much serving sort of like whether it's fashion or creative industries, or like, really cool experiences. So I think what they're doing is really exciting. And I know that they're part of the Meta Ring project. So I'll definitely hit up Simon and get him on your podcast. Because what they're doing is really exciting.
Perfect. Great. Well, anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I thank you so much for the time. I think we're really excited to work with Venly moving forward. I think, the team have been really, supportive, and we've got, we think that the work you guys are doing in terms of like wallet integration and making it painless for users is really great. So I think it only helps, all the work that you guys are doing only helps strengthen kind of what we're doing. So really excited to continue working with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. And thanks for taking your time and talking with me today. So.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day. All right. All the best. Cheers.
Yes, you too. Bye.